The main loot. It's all here.
Easy loot!
Maybe a main loot core isn't such a good idea. Welcome to the Deathknell. This is a multi-TC wall stack design perfect for a group of 4 to 8 players. Features include a total of 7 TCs for upkeep cost reduction and area control, also adding a total of 48 rockets to the raid cost in order to fully take over and grief the base. Decentralized, heavily reinforced loot rooms, making total raid cost extremely high and actually difficult to calculate. It features roof battlements in lieu of outer peekdowns to keep costs down, however it does feature inner peekdowns. A 4th floor pillbox design meant to control the roof as well as the inner peekdowns. An optional crow's nest, helpful in regaining control over the roof and useful in long-range engagements. Plenty of space designed to be customizable to your group's particular needs. A surprisingly low maintenance cost, allowing you to focus less on farming and more on making plays. And very importantly, the build order of the base is split into stages appropriate for a group's progression through the wipe, with every step significantly reinforcing and strengthening the base. And now for a tour of the premises. And I hope you enjoyed the music too. We enter through one of the 2 main entrances. As we traverse the outer shell, we are always within view of the inner peekdowns and prey to cunningly concealed traps. Here we find the heavily trapped chute leading to the 3rd floor of the base. The entrance corridor contains many doors to go through, as well as 2 drop-off loot rooms. On the 3rd floor we have 2 luxurious bedrooms as well as a reinforced electricity suite. In this case the corridor is pretty bare, with room for many more items to be placed. From here we climb to the 4th floor, a customizable area constituting a metal pillbox from which we can control both the inner peekdowns and the roof area. Through 3 garage doors we enter the inner peekdowns, where we can fire on anyone trying to enter the core of the base. Through here we can also jump to the roof. The outer area of the roof is segmented and can be controlled by nasty shotgun traps and turrets. The roof battlements, while not being as secure as external peekdowns, nevertheless offer a good view all around the base and moderate protection. Going back inside, through several garage doors we find the climb up to the crow's nest. The tower is spacious and can contain further bedrooms and loot if so desired. The crow's nest is useful for regaining control over the roof and in long-range engagements, while the tower also serves as a honeycomb atop the base. We re-enter the 3rd floor and descend through the trapped chute to the 2nd floor, where we store the majority of our loot. Here we see the decentralized loot rooms which encircle the base. The idea of this design is that a raider will have to expend considerable resources on getting just a tiny bit of the loot, regardless of the angle of attack. Additionally, the loot rooms serve as honeycomb to the core of the base. The loot rooms will then have to be breached separately as they go all around the base. There is no main loot core that can be breached. Through the trapped chute we enter the main bunker floor. Here we have undrainable shotgun traps to instantly kill anyone dropping through the chute. The non-centralized compartments hold 2 vending machines each, with 1 compartment for the TC. The bunker can be sealed in this manner, meaning that it can be sealed from the inside. There is no soft side foundation that can be jackhammered cheaply. Upkeep with the base fully upgraded allows the TC to remain full for about a day and a half. It can be more or less depending on upgrades. The compartmentalization of the loot rooms means that should a raider gain access to the core, he will still not gain access to the loot, as the bulletproof windows still need to be destroyed and they cannot be splashed easily because of the garage doors, thus making the raid a seriously expensive endeavor. A beautiful pearl on dangerous shores, I thus present the Deathknell. I will be using final build materials in the demonstration. Start with an armored triangle compartment for the TC. A furnace is always useful. Now close with a stone window frame and bulletproof glass if you have it, but not before you fill the TC with some upkeep, of course. Now build a circle of triangles out from the TC compartment, and from the circle build out armored triangle foundations. At this location build a raised foundation. Enclose the raised foundation with half walls and a floor tile to keep its soft side protected and wall yourself in. Here at the entrance to the bunker we will place a triangular stone frame, while the rest of the roof we will close with armored tiles. Place a ladder hatch, if you have one, in the frame. This is how it should look. To build the bunker, place half walls atop half walls, making sure the soft side is facing you, and destroy the lower half. Again, this is how the bunker is closed. Now fill the inner circle with door frames and garage doors. Then you can fill the space with whatever you need, but ultimately you should be filling the niches with vending machines, like so. Close them in with window frames hard side facing you. Bulletproof windows can go on there when you log off. Also, it's possible to upgrade the walls to HQM with vending machines there, but avoid placing window frames until you upgrade. Remember to turn the vending machines around and disable their broadcast function unless you want everyone to know where they are. Now we will build the undrainable shotgun traps. First place a low wall under the bunker half wall, then place 8 rugs like so, one atop the other. When you place shotgun traps on them, they will be slightly elevated above the floor level, thus able to easily fire above the low wall. You can then remove the rugs to make room for sleeping bags, etc. There should be room for up to 7 bags in here, if you want that many in the bunker. The final step to this stage is to build a chute leading to the second floor. Build it in this orientation. Close with a roof, a garage door, and the first stage of the build is done. From here we proceed to the honeycombing and the shaping of the second floor. Surround the first floor with triangle foundations in this manner, placing walls inside and all around the new foundations. This is the first of 3 layers of wall which will protect the bunker. Climb up using a ladder or a twig build-up and close the honeycomb with triangle tiles. Then proceed to wall the entire second floor in. When done, place a window frame in this orientation, soft side facing the chute, and a wall next to it. This will comprise the chute up to the 3rd floor of the base. We can put one of them fancy ladder hatches in there, being sure to close it with a garage door before proceeding to roof the entire 2nd floor. Going up, we will build the chute to the 3rd floor, facing the center of the base. Now if you're ready to upgrade to final tier, then upgrade the floors comprising the star shape directly above the main bunker to armor. Looks nice, and will come in very useful as well. For the time being, we will enter the base using a simple wooden chute. Now we are ready to proceed and shape the reinforced loot rooms of the second floor. To the right of the upward chute, we will place a temporary half wall, which will allow us to place 2 triangle shelves. Destroy the half wall, which of course should not be upgraded. Place 4 large boxes in the loot room and close it off with the window frame, soft side facing you. Add a wall, weak side facing you, to close the loot room off. If you have one, place a vending machine in the triangle, not deep into the corner, but in a place where it will block movement should the window frame or the wall to the right are destroyed. It will not hinder you from accessing the boxes. You can also add in another cheeky little box and, when going offline, close the loot room with a bulletproof window. To finish off the loot room, close everything in with a garage door. Now continue building such loot rooms in sequence to the right of this one. You should have 4 such loot rooms built when you're done. Now go through the corridor until you reach the window frame that opens up to the upward chute. Build another loot room which will be accessed from the chute, orienting the boxes this way. Close it off with a wall, soft side facing you, and then build another loot room behind it in this location. A vending machine can go here. And door frames with garage doors should now be placed in every available socket. In order to fully fortify the core of the second floor, you will need to place a vending machine or your 3rd tier workbench here. You will also need to upgrade these 2 walls, as well as this window frame and shelf. You should now have 6 such loot rooms on this floor, which together with the vending machines provide you with a remarkable 29 large boxes worth of highly armored distributed storage, set up in a way that requires every side of the base to be raided to get them all, and this is without counting the small boxes that can fit in the loot rooms or anything you may place in the corridor. And this in addition to a highly fortified bunker where you can place your best loot. Even if you do not proceed beyond this point of the build, you now have a very powerful base that is quite cheap to maintain, costly to raid, and easy to use. Climb up the ladders or wooden chutes and let's get the 3rd floor going. Build 2 walls to the left of the chute, then a doorway. This will be our main entrance. Then wall the whole 3rd floor in. Now comes the chute up to the 4th floor. Position it such that the entrance to the chute directly faces our new main entrance. Place a half-height stone shelf in the chute, closing it with a ladder hatch and garage door. This is a good place for a turret, by the way, covering the entire main hallway, the entrance and the chutes. Then roof the whole thing in. At this point the 3rd floor should look like this, with the chute upwards on the right, the chute downwards in the middle and the new entrance to the left. Now we will build out the entrance. It's a bit bizarre, but bear with me here. Out from the garage door, build a triangle floor with a wall to the left and a roof. To the right, build 2 half-high walls like so, destroying the lower one. From the outside it should look like this. I see light is running out, better finish this quickly. Cover the chute with a shotgun trap for now and let's continue. We will build loot rooms on both sides of the chute leading down, following the layout of the second floor loot rooms. Excuse me for rushing through this. These will serve as quick drop-off, grab-and-go style loot rooms as they are close to the entrance and easy to access. Now we will place one metal and one stone wall in this configuration, creating a straight corridor from the main entrance. The stone wall we will complete to a stone triangle compartment to house our battery. Now we will build 2 bedrooms, each laid out on 4 triangles. Here we will build the first. Start with a garage door. We will then place 2 beds like this, followed by 2 lockers against the outer wall, and 2 small chests for love letters possibly, or pictures from home. The second bedroom will go on these 4 triangles. Note that it's best to place the door first, because the bed once placed might prevent the door from being placed. And that's the 3rd floor pretty much done. All that's left to do now is to fill the corridor with a bajillion garage doors and build out the 4th floor chute, placing the door facing the same direction as the main entrance. And just in time for the beautiful shoreside rusty sunset, the 3rd floor is complete. There are many advantages to using wall stacking, but the main one is a significant decrease in overall upkeep. In this case, the overall upkeep of the base is reduced almost by half in the price of stone, for example, compared to a non-wall stacked version. This also means that you don't have to refill the TC several times a day. There are some disadvantages like stability issues and gaps where walls intersect, but this design eliminates those completely. To create the wall stacking footprint, build 2 twig triangles off one side of the base like so, and from there build a line of 9 squares out. Destroy the first 8 squares as well as the triangles, and then from the remaining square build triangles in half-moon pattern towards the base. When you get to this triangle, build a raised square foundation and a square foundation on either side of it. Upgrade them to metal. Then destroy the remaining twig foundations. It may be that where you built you can't go a full 9 squares out from your base due to terrain. In this case, do it this way. Build 2 triangles from the side of the base, followed by a line of 4 squares, capped by a triangle. Destroy everything but that last triangle, and return from it towards the base with triangles until you can build no closer. Then destroy everything but that closest triangle to the base, and from it, build 4 squares out again capped by a triangle. Destroy everything but this triangle, and then from it, build half moons back towards the base until you can place a raised square foundation as before. Do this on all sides of the base and you will end up with 6 sets of 3 square foundations surrounding the main base. To prevent these squares from decaying and to continue the build, we will need to connect these foundations to TCs. Build 5 metal foundations out from the middle square and cap off with a metal triangle. This will be the TC compartment. Adding a furnace allows you to keep some random loot behind 8 rockets worth of protection. Stuff some materials in the TC for upkeep, of course. Close with a stone window frame, and add another stone triangle enclosed by a wall and another window frame. With bulletproof windows, this compartment costs 8 rockets to breach. Attach such TC compartments on all 6 sides. She's looking good. Now we will finalize the external footprint of the base. Surround the center with these mostly useless stone foundations, which I placed there as a habit from the stair foundation age of Rust building. These will nonetheless be very useful against splash damage if the foundations leading out to the TC are raised. They can also later be used to expand the footprint, so not altogether useless. Now here's the important bit. Go to the main entrance of the base. Under it, clip 2 triangle foundations to the main base. Go sideways to the next set of external foundations and clip 3 raised triangle foundations from them pointing towards the base. Continue alternating between 2 triangles connected to the main base and 3 triangles connected to the external foundations, and it should ultimately look like this, a very tight and efficient pattern. Now we are ready to build the honeycomb that will give the base its true strength. For the actual honeycombing, we will attach metal triangles to the sides of the base like so. These will prevent splash damage from hitting many walls at once in certain situations. Under the entrance to the base, we will build up a 2-wall-high honeycomb. Anywhere else where we have a foundation clipped to the base itself, we will build 3 walls up. Where we have raised triangle foundations pointing towards the base, we will not build 3 walls, but rather half walls topped by 2 regular walls. Continue alternating between 3 full walls of honeycomb where your honeycomb foundations come out from the main base, and a half wall and 2 walls where you build on the externally kept foundations. Before closing the honeycomb with ceilings, we will complete another layer of honeycomb, building 2 levels of stone wall up in these corners, from the central square of the external footprint. This is also done to defend against splash damage. When we get to the entrance of the base, however, we will not place 2 stone walls, but rather a stone door frame and a wall above it, thus finally finishing the main entrance to the base with a chute that can be better protected and trapped. When done, climb up through the base, or fly like an admin, and close off the honeycomb with ceilings. In order to leave no gaps, make sure all triangles are attached to the core walls rather than the externally kept ones. Close in the stone honeycomb as well. Honeycombing was a vital part in making this base viable. Now that we're done with that, we can proceed to the 4th floor of the base and the the defense tower. The 4th floor is meant to serve as a defensive position, guarding the roof and the inner peekdowns, as well as providing space for anything that can be fitted into the floor itself and the tower above it. Those customizations I leave to you, but here is the design in principle. We will start by securing the 4th floor. To the left of the chute, we will build the following by order: window, window, door, window, wall, window, door, window, wall, window, door. Place garage doors and cover the window frames. It's best to use vertical embrasures to prevent soft side picking when offline. Next, we will expand the chute with walls to house 2 more garage doors. This triangle is designated to be the exit up to the tower, so a ladder hatch can be placed here. With the door path now strengthened, we will roof the whole 4th floor in. However, only the outer circle of triangles will be upgraded to metal. The inner circle, where we will build the tower, will be made of stone. Before we continue to build the tower, we will strengthen our 3 entrances with further garage doors. One door will be placed here in the corner. With the other 2 entrances, the door frame will be placed to the left of the existing door, with the wall to the right of it, hard side facing the doors. Now we can build our tower. We will close the central stone circle with 2 levels of stone walls, placing a ladder hatch and ladder to get up. On top, we will close the tower with roofs and secure the exit further with a door. The slanted roof ramps can be placed from the tip of a temporary triangle tile. And if we're here already, we may as well plop down a windmill on 2 metal triangles to supply power to our lights and turrets. And with that, the 4th floor is complete. You will note that the tower is left empty and can be configured to contain whatever you may need, such as a heli hangar if you leave an opening on the side, or possibly bedrooms, a prison for long-haired princesses, or a sauna. However, when church bells are introduced to the game, one will have to go on top. This is, after all, the Deathknell. The 4th floor too is left mostly empty to be configured however you like. More doors can go behind the windows to reinforce the entrance, or bedrooms, or, well, you get it. The point is that now we come to the final stage of the build, where it all comes together. The outer shell of the base and the highly meta inner Peekdowns. Going to the entrance, we will turn around and build 3 levels of walls around the inner foundation of the external footprint, like so. Make sure, however, to have at least 2 entrances. By the way, the 3rd wall up can also be replaced with a window. When we're done, it should look like this. Now, after walling the whole base in like that, we will add the roof layer to close everything in. Build 3 squares and 5 triangles, like this. Again, same pattern. Continue with this pattern all around the base. We're almost done. We will now go down to the external shell area and build 3 levels of door frames on both sides of the central square, as well as around these triangle gaps in the foundation. It's not necessary to build them anywhere else. These play 2 roles. Firstly, they will act as scaffolding supporting our Peekdowns and upper walls should the lower walls or foundations be destroyed. Secondly, they will seal all the gaps we get where different building sections intersect. A common problem in multi-TC builds. The Deathknell has no such gaps at all. Though it might be fun to put a shotgun trap somewhere where it can shoot through these gaps. It should be invisible and, well, undrainable in essence. The scaffolds are pretty robust, but in order to ensure Peekdown stability in a rocket raid, I would suggest upgrading at least one of the door frame stacks on the central square foundations to metal. Well, in any case, when the scaffolding is all done, place a square triangle in these spots above this center square, 2 floors up. The door frames can also allow you to segment the shell to block easy movement around it if it gets breached. This is of course optional, though it's best to use chain link fences and prison cell doors, as you can see and shoot through these from the Peekdowns. Speaking of Peekdowns, go up to the 4th floor, from which you can exit to the inner space of the shell. Here's the convenient square we placed before. We will build a garage door in this place to further separate the Peekdowns in the 4th floor, and we will build Peekdowns like so. From the Peekdowns we just placed, we will close this gap here with a half wall. It's a bit fiddly because it's part of an externally kept foundation, so it's easier to do it from this angle. Close the opening on the other side of the door as well. and do this for all 3 exits to the Peekdowns. Now just run around the shell and place Peekdowns every which way. I recommend to never attach them to an external wall, but only to the door frames. This will ensure they remain in place even if the outer walls are breached. And but for some final fixings, she's basically done. Now you might want to add some roof ramps, barricades on the metal roof, further defenses by way of window frames. Shotgun traps can be placed at the windows to further control the roof. Turrets are also a powerful addition. Sandbags can be used to hinder free movement, making the traps even more deadly. Some sort of compound can go around the base at any time after the external TCs are in place. Hell, you can even build Peekdowns if you really want, though it's very cost inefficient in my estimation. Integrated boiler room, I hear you cry. Fine, here's how to build that. Note that it also honeycombs the vulnerable corner foundations and is one way to expand the footprint if you want to make a bigger base. And that is it really. There's much more that you can do with it, but also much less. It depends on what you want. And as you've seen, each step of the build provides you with a super strong, viable base to work with, which is practical to build and maintain, as well as a plan according to which to expand it further. I call it the Deathknell, and it will freaking take you safely through the wipe. I mean, hopefully. Now, since you enjoyed this, and to indicate to me that you would like more content such as this, you will now press the like and subscribe buttons. Good luck, and blessed be.